Hey everybody, it's Rico, and in this video I'm going to talk about the cost of living of a luxurious lifestyle here in Cyprus. And with that being said, let's start right away with the first point, which is renting a property here in Cyprus. And the timing is actually perfect because I literally just got kicked out of my previous apartment, which was a penthouse with a very beautiful sea view. It was an older property, but regardless, the price was so good. I paid 1,100 euros in monthly rent, and I actually liked the apartment very much until the owner decided that he wants to renovate it and rent it out for a higher price. But I saw this as an opportunity to finally rent a detached house, and now I'm paying 2,000 euros for an unfurnished house, where for the first time I can actually buy my own furniture, which is a great feeling because I don't have to sleep on a used mattress or on a sofa where other people did whatever they do. Anyway, the good thing is that maintenance, the communal expenses and garden expenses, which are sometimes extra, are included in the 2,000 euros monthly rent. So effectively, this is what I'm paying just to be able to live in this house. On top of that, we have electricity costs, but because I just moved in, I didn't receive my first electricity bill yet. But in my old penthouse apartment, I was paying 237 euros 65 cents for the last 2 months that I lived in, and I'm guessing that it will be a little bit more just because this house is bigger and more modern. I have more light setups, I have a bigger TV, and so logically I'm using much more electricity as well. Next one is the water bill, which comes every 3 months, and also here I didn't receive a water bill yet. Yes, I have to pay it myself, but in the old apartment I paid about 50 euros for 3 months. And because I'm not expecting to use more water in this house, I will probably pay about the same. Lastly, we also have Wi-Fi, of course, and here I'm paying 28 euros and 49 cents plus 5 euros extra every month in order to have the service fiber to the room, where I have 2 routers in my house, one downstairs and one here in the office, so that I have the best possible internet connection. And this then leads to the total monthly costs, including everything for this house, of 2,300 euros net in order to live in this beautiful house. I will also upload a house tour very soon, so definitely make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we continue with the next one, which is my internet on my iPhone. And here I use an eSIM with unlimited internet, where I pay 20 euros and 73 cents every month. Then next to the rent, which is probably the biggest fixed cost for most people, we also have groceries, and here I pay about 1,000 euros per month for 2 people. I pay for everything for my girlfriend as well, and we usually go shopping in Lidl and Alpha Mega, which are 2 of the biggest supermarkets here on the island. My girlfriend is shopping, and I told her that she doesn't need to look at the prices anymore. I decided for myself that it makes much more sense to focus on making as much money as possible and not running to different shops looking for the biggest bargain, because this is actually how I brought up, and I definitely know where I'm coming from. But nowadays it just makes much more sense to buy the best quality food so that my brain, my body is always healthy, and this then leads to the fact that I make much more money on a daily basis as well. And if we look into my Revolut app, then we see Lidl like every 3 to 4 days. Usually it's 60 to 70 euros, but it also includes things like, let's say, buying a new kettle, buying an air fryer, or even tissues, toilet paper, things that you do not need necessarily to survive, but that you just buy because you want to upgrade your house, your lifestyle, or just like anything that makes the purchase more expensive. And that leads to a total cost of roughly 1,000 euros for groceries, shopping in the supermarkets every month. Obviously, this varies a lot. Some months are much more, some months are less. It depends very much on our current lifestyle, how much we eat. For example, during summer, I eat much less because I go on a diet where I'm not eating that much calories. And during winter, I'm eating like a bear. And so the fixed costs during winter for groceries are much more as well. And the same goes for going out, cafes, going into restaurants, smoking shisha every now and then, ordering food delivery and all that. And we usually drink coffee as well as a matcha every single day. So this then also leads to about 1,000 euros every month for going out, cafes, restaurants, spontaneous activities like boat trips, jet skiing, paddle games, or whatever it is that my heart desires. And so I would say that those are the top 3 highest fixed costs, also the most necessary ones, because those are costs that you have regardless of where you live. And now we continue with the next one, which is the barber. I go to the barber about 2 times per month. I would say one cut costs me 15 euros. So we have 30 euros every month that I pay to cut my hair. Next one is the gym. And I'm usually prepaying 3 months for the gym membership, which leads to a monthly cost of 90 euros euros per month, because you never know where you are in 4 to 5 months. So I don't want to go into an annual gym membership, which would be much cheaper, of course. And also sometimes I'm just spontaneously visiting other gyms, and there I usually go with day passes, which are about, I would say, depending on the gym, 5 to sometimes even 15 euros. And now, because I want this video to be fully comprehensive and very detailed, I'm also going into some monthly fixed costs that I have that are very individual to me, such as, for example, supplements. And I'm using a lot of supplements. I will show you a photo here of my current stock without the logo, because this is not sponsored, of course. And so my monthly fixed costs for all my supplements together cost me around 300 euros every month. But I also do things like having different flavors so that I can mix and match depending on the day and mood. But again, this is an absolute investment into my health and body and mental health, of course, because I know that supplements can literally not just extend your lifetime, but also your life quality. And so having supplements like magnesium, vitamin C, vitamin D, creatine, ashwagandha, and many more are very important to me, and I would never skip them just to save some euros. And so that about the health part. Now let's also talk about the business part. And here I have various different subscriptions nowadays. I remember when I moved to Cyprus, I didn't even have a SIM card for the first few years, because those 20 euros were so important to me, because I came to Cyprus with 2,000 euros in my bank account. But over the years, my business progressed and my lifestyle upgraded, and so I have a lot of subscriptions that I will not mention now. I will just show you a few logos right here if you're interested, are very necessary to me in order to run my business properly. And if I look at the list, I see a lot of AI, I see a lot of cloud, I see a lot of automations, this and that, design things, social media and all that. So again, this is very individual to me, but maybe some of you want to get a general idea of how a luxury lifestyle here in Cyprus costs, and this is what I'm telling you in this video. And by the way, because I'm the only shareholder in my business, I don't really differentiate between private and business money. I'm much rather interested in the total grand sum, so to say, at the end of the month, or rather year, and how much money this makes. But yeah, that about it. Next, very individual to me, is my personal trainer and coach, where I have a special collab. But because this is a one-to-one consultation and we go to the gym together and he looks at my nutrition and diet, this would normally cost 2,000 euros. However, this again is so individual that I'm not even going to include this in the total sum at the end. The same applies to my video editor, to my videographer, as well as the off-plan office and a warehouse that I'm going to rent very soon. And this then leads to the next point, which is cars, which is also kinda a necessity actually. And I personally own 3 cars. I own a Mercedes SLK, which I bought like 2-3 years ago. Then I also bought a McLaren 570S last year, and just a few weeks ago I bought a Mercedes G63 AMG. And here we have the following fixed costs for those cars. Number one is the MOT, which is the allowance to drive that vehicle on the street. You need to go to the garage or to a MOT station every 2 years in order to check your car. Then you will get a physical certificate that this car is allowed to drive on Cyprus streets, and this costs 35 euros for my SLK, 100 euros for my McLaren, and 100 euros for my G63. And by the way, I also own a motorbike, a Yamaha XSR 125 that I love to use to grab a coffee or just drive to the sea and back home. Super chill and very convenient, especially during rush hours, for example, because with the bike you can just slender your way to wherever you want to go. And the interesting part is that for motorbikes there is no MOT here in Cyprus, and so this costs 0 euros for my motorbike. And now we are going to talk about the next fixed cost for cars, which is the road tax. The road tax is a bit tricky because you can pay for 3, 6, 9 and 12 months, and I usually do 3 or 6 months just because I never know, maybe I want to sell the car, this or that. And so listen carefully, because for the Mercedes I paid 130 euros at the beginning of this year, so I paid for 6 months 130 euros. The McLaren 570 6 months cost me 544 euros. The G63 was actually paid by the previous owner, the seller, so I don't know exactly how much it will cost, but I'm guessing that it will be very similar to the McLaren, so also 544 euros, because it has similar horsepower, and the bike cost me a ridiculous 10 euros per year. And so you see, owning a motorbike here in Cyprus is super cheap, which is one of the reasons why I love owning one. Anyway, next one is insurance, and the insurance is paid for the whole year, and I paid for the Mercedes SLK 254 euros 96 cents for the whole year 2026. The motorbike cost me 137 euros and 30 cents. The McLaren cost me 576 euros and 20 cents, and the G63 cost me 410 euros and 54 cents. Now, why the heck is it so cheap? I don't know myself. I do not have the full coverage for my cars because I would describe myself as a good driver, and also most of the times I'm actually using the SLK, which is the cheapest car, and I'm literally using my McLaren maybe once every 2 weeks. So I don't see the point in getting the full coverage for the McLaren, which would be 3,000 to 4,000 euros, which are the quotes that I received. Anyway, last point for the cars are gas prices, so the fuel, and currently we have a liter price of 95 benzene of 1.63 euros. And obviously how much you will end up paying for gas and fuel depends very much on how much you will drive the car. I can just tell you from my experience that I usually fuel up my Mercedes SLK twice a month, my McLaren maximum once a month, and my G63 I don't have it for that long, but for the past month I already fueled it up 2.5 times. I would say I still have half the gas in the tank, so the G63 is very thirsty, but each full tank cost me between 90 to 140 euros for the G63, which was a shock. But anyway, the most important thing is how often I drive the cars and how long. There are weeks where I go to Limassol 3 times a week, and then there are months where I'm not going to Limassol once, and so I can just give you a range of at least 300 euros to up to 600 to 700 euros that I'm paying every month for gas. At another 8 euros, and you also have the motorbike in there. Anyway, next point, very important, and that is the service provider and legal costs as well as accounting. Here I have to admit that I have an in-house accountant and lawyer, so to me personally there are no service costs for that because we only pay the real prices that my lawyers and accountants pay to the government as well. However, because we have about 200 companies under management at Tax.one, I still know the exact costs that you will pay if you incorporate a company here in Cyprus and you want to do accounting as well as auditing. And the costs vary depending on the transaction volume, how much the accountant needs to work on your papers and books. But for a company like myself, it would be around 350 euros to 400 euros per month for the accounting, as well as 100 euros for the office address. The same goes for a secretary service if you wish to have one. And then we have the auditing, which is 1,500 euros per year per company. Now let's stay in the corporate world and also talk about taxes. Cyprus's official corporate tax is 15%. So on every euro in profit that you make, you pay 15% in taxes to the Cyprus tax department. On top of that, there is also the YESI contribution or dividend tax or special defense contribution, whatever you want to call it. Here I paid 4,770 euros last year, which is the cap which you have to pay if you receive a dividend of 180,000 euros or more. If you pay yourself more than that, you do not need to pay more in YESI contribution. 4.770 is the maximum that you pay in YESI contribution. Next is social insurance. I pay about 100 euros per month because my salary is purposely very low because I'm paying most of my money from the company to myself as a natural person via dividends. And then there's also an annual municipality fee for every company. This depends on the municipality, but usually at Tax.one we assign the Limassol or Paphos municipality depending on where the client moves to, and this costs 200 euros every year. And now it's getting interesting because, as said earlier, I moved into an unfurnished house, which means I have one-off costs, things that I need to buy one time and that will then stick with me for many years. And here we have furniture, cars or bikes if you do not want to rent it. The deposit is also a one-off fee that you pay upon moving into your new apartment. It is usually 1 or 2 months rent. So here I paid 4,000 euros in deposit because my monthly rent is 2,000 euros and the landlord wanted 2 safety deposits. The same applies to electricity and water, where you pay a small deposit. At the electricity office it is 200 euros, and because water is not registered on my name, I don't even know how much it is, but I'm guessing 50, 100 euros, something like that. And then we also have something very important, which is the shipping and import costs. Every time you order something online or you want to ship something to Cyprus, which you should definitely not neglect. The actual import cost depends very much on what you actually want to bring to Cyprus, how heavy it is, how big it is and all that. But some smaller packages from Amazon, for example, sometimes do not come with any shipping costs. But if you want to bring bigger things here that are heavy, for example, my height adjustable desk, which I bought on Amazon, I paid the same price for shipping as I paid for the table, which is 250 euros. So I paid 250 for the table and another 250 for shipping it to Cyprus, but it was still cheaper than buying it here in Cyprus. We had clients over the last few years that literally brought containers to Cyprus with furniture, cars and all that from Canada, from Germany, from the UK, and this then goes into the thousands of euros. But you can definitely get a quote from different shipping companies, and then you can just decide on your own what makes most sense for you. And now we're going to talk about the final price breakdown. How much am I actually paying every single month in order to live the way I live here in Cyprus? And so let's summarize. We had the housing costs, 2,300 euros every month. I'm going to round now, by the way. Phone, 20 euros for the eSIM. Supplements, 300 euros every month. Subscriptions, 350. Food and lifestyle, 2,000. Gym, 100. Cars, about 800. Business and legal, 500 euros under normal conditions. And the taxes are very individual, so there are no specific numbers. And that leads to a rounded average monthly fixed cost for Ricardo Gorski of 6,370 euros per month. But again, it varies about 1 to 2,000 euros every single month, depending on what I buy, what I don't buy, this and that. And it does also not include certain business things. As mentioned earlier, it does not include the fitness coach, it does not include my video editor, my videographer, the off-plan office, or other things that I maybe forgot. It is just a general estimate of what you can expect if you want to move to Cyprus and live a rather comfortable, luxurious lifestyle. And also, I definitely want to mention that I work so hard every single day. Most of the time, I'm actually here in my office and not outside living the life that I'm showing on social media. When I first came to Cyprus, I had nothing but a dream and a vision and so much passion that helped me stay consistent and disciplined over the last few years. And so my lifestyle now is just the result of hard work and effort. And this is why I'm also so grateful for the country Cyprus, because the island gave me the opportunity in the first place and I just acted upon, and I have the best community ever. So thank you very much for watching the video until the very end, guys. And if you subscribe, then I will see you in the next video.